Let's get started with chapter 1, which is setting up our dev environment, and Holo Toolkit Unity, which is our GitHub project. And you'll find a shortcut on your desktop, which is a Unity icon. Go ahead, double-click on the icon. And on the top right, click Open. Navigate to the desktop. And select the Shared Mixed Reality project. Click Select Folder. And this is going to tell Unity to open the project for you. So we just have a pre-canned project with all the assets in it because it just takes some time to get the assets in there, and that's why we have everything imported in here. The first thing I want to show you in this project is how do you actually get access to the Windows Mixed Reality APIs in Unity. So let's everyone go ahead and click on Edit, Project Settings, and Player. That will open up an inspector panel on the right. Go ahead, click on the Windows Store icon, the green icon, and expand Other Settings. And the key thing I want to show you is that there's a checkbox in there, which is Virtual Reality Supported, and we have that enabled for you. And the SDK it's targeting is Windows Mixed Reality. And that is how your Unity app will know when to access all the Windows Mixed Reality APIs. So this is what you need to check when you first start your project. Next, let's go ahead and click on the main camera, which is in the hierarchy. And if you observe on the inspector panel on the right side that this is awesome for a VR app with a skybox and everything. But we want our application to run both on HoloLens and immersive headsets. So let's go ahead and delete this, and we'll get something custom in there. So you can right-click on the main camera and delete, or you can just select it and press the delete key. And now at the bottom left of the project panel, go ahead and select the Holo Toolkit folder. Go into Input, and then Prefabs. And we're going to use the last prefab that you see in there, Mixed Reality Camera Parent. Go ahead, drag that, and drop it into the open space of the hierarchy panel. Now, there are quite a few other prefabs in there. The reason we picked a camera parent prefab is because we're going to be changing the transform of that component in a future chapter. If you were not going to change the transform component for your camera, you can just use the Mixed Reality Camera prefab from the toolkit. Once you have that, let's go ahead and expand the camera. I want to show you what all we've changed. And double-click on Mixed Reality Camera. Look over on the right side in the inspector panel. And we've kept the tag the same as main camera, as that's the main camera for our application. And we've changed the transform's position to be 0, 0, 0, as that's where your origin is going to be when you first start your application with the HoloLens, wherever it happens to be. And when you move away from that spot, you move away from the origin. Next, we changed the clear flags to be solid color, and we've made the color black, because in HoloLens, we want the real world to shine through, and black renders us transparent. And that's why we changed that to black. Let's look further down on this Mixed Reality camera, and you'll see we have a script attached called Mixed Reality Camera Manager. On that script, we have two quality settings that we've pre-wired. One is an opaque quality level, which is for the immersive headsets. This is also pretty typical in Unity apps that you set a quality level by going to Edit, Project Settings and Quality. We just have that in the script. So we set the opaque quality level to fantastic, because your immersive headsets are plugged onto your PC, and we're going to use the GPU on the PC. For the HoloLens, we set the quality level to be fastest, because it's a mobile GPU, and that's why we are respecting that fact, and we set it to fastest. Next, let's go ahead and double-click on Mixed Reality Camera Manager, and I want to show you one super useful API. Let's open the script in Visual Studio. And to open it, you want to click on the grayed out word Mixed Reality Camera Manager. The key thing I want to show you in this is the start function. We're making a call to holographic settings.isDisplayOpaque. And that is how we determine whether you're running on an immersive headset versus HoloLens. And this really allows you to super customize your apps to different device types, and you can create really compelling experiences. So if our display is opaque, meaning if we're on an immersive headset, we set opaque settings. Otherwise, we set HoloLens settings. Next, let's go ahead and drag a skybox. So when you had clicked on the main camera earlier, you had noticed that there was a skybox that Unity provides to you by default. But we thought we can do better. Let's make a pretty skybox. On the bottom left, let's find the app prefabs folder. And inside the app prefabs folder, there's a material called Skybox. Go ahead, drag the Skybox and drop it into the scene view. Just anywhere in the scene view. And this is the only step we'll do in the scene view. You know you've done this right if your scene view looks blue like that. And this is going to replace the default skybox that Unity uses. It gets set in window lighting. It gets set under that. All right. Next, from the same app prefabs folder, let's go ahead and drag the managers object. So find the managers object and drop it into the open space of the hierarchy panel. Let's go ahead and expand the managers object. I want to show you what we have pre-wired for you. And you'll see we have an audio manager there for you. It just takes time to get the audio right, so we pre-wired everything for you. And this is spatial sound. So this time when you deploy, make sure you can move around the hologram from left to right and see how the sound traverses. Go closer, it's louder, go further away, it'll be softer. Make sure you experience that. Next, let's go ahead and drag the island asset from the app prefabs folder and drop it into the open space of the hierarchy. Double click on the island, and basically this is the asset that we're going to be visualizing in our device. All right, we're now ready to save our progress. Go ahead, click File, Save Scene As, name it whatever you want. We're now ready to start compiling our Unity project and generating a Visual Studio solution. So go ahead, click File, Build Settings. Click Add Open Scenes. And that's going to add your currently open scene into Scenes in Build. Click on Windows Store. And then click Switch Platform. And you know it's done correctly when the white Unity cube shows up next to Windows Store. On the right side, let's go ahead and check to enable Unity C# projects. And now we are ready to hit the button Build. That'll open up a Windows Explorer. Go ahead, make a new folder. Call it App, APP. And with the App folder selected, click Select Folder. And now we're going to wait a couple seconds for Unity to compile and generate a Visual Studio solution. So it's taking all the assets, serializing them, generating one VS solution that we can then deploy to our devices. So the app should be done compiling by now. So go ahead, drill inside the app folder and double click on Shared Mixed Reality, the Visual Studio solution. Make sure you click on the solution that's inside the app folder. If Visual Studio pops up for a selector dialog, just say OK. And now we want to make sure that our settings match what we have on the side. So go ahead, change debug to be release and ARM to be x86. Now you have a choice here. You get to deploy to either HoloLens or immersive in whichever order. But just so that the mentors can help you a little bit better, I recommend you deploy on the HoloLens first, and then you can deploy on the immersive headsets. So select the drop-down next to local machine and select device. We will keep this at device for HoloLens and local machine for the immersive headset. And next, we will click Debug menu, Start without debugging. Make sure your HoloLens is right side up, pointing in the direction of where you want the island to show up. Keep your HoloLens plugged in till your output screen says successful. Quick reminder that your hologram is going to appear wherever you happen to hold the headset. Deploy and enjoy.